the Perspectives of Leadership examination for the exam questions examined in December 2011. The examination attempts to test the candidates' understanding of the course materials and their abilities to connect up the study and workshop to the questions of the examination. In other words, I want to emphasize that I was not looking for previous knowledge of leadership and creativity, but I was looking for skills and ideas developed through attendance and perspectives of leadership. The overall performance in the exam was pretty much that we've received before. Most of the candidates demonstrated very satisfactory MBA level performance. Again, there was no candidate scoring a serious fail of less than 30% grade. The questions were framed so that credit would be given for answers which show understanding of relevant aspects of the study guide and the course textbook. However, that alone would not compensate for answers which showed no signal of learning gains, in other words, evidence that there was a certain amount of map testing and relating to personal understanding of the subjects. The best papers were outstanding and several earned distinction grades. These candidates showed that they understood the essential features of the textbook and study guide and incorporated them into the answers. It was not necessary to give multiple citations for this, but indications were made in the answer where the ideas came from. The best papers demonstrated learning gains from the course, both from what was written in the papers and what was implied. They also avoided the treatment made by other candidates who assumed that the course content was easy to reduce to something which could be put to work straight away as a technique which led to an immediate raise in creativity or creative leadership. Other answers lost marks for various other reasons. I've already mentioned that some students mentioned and gave descriptions of earlier leadership courses. Credit was given for that, but only if the candidate indicated testing the experience with comparisons by reference to the Perspectives of Leadership course. In other papers, there was a descriptive account of trying out a technique such as the 4-stage MPIA process. Some credit is given for that if it was put in context. However, a bold description of it didn't gain many marks. Several accounts were too descriptive and could have benefited from more map testing or critical evaluation. The majority of papers achieving a pass grade but not a distinction showed learning gains from the course in the answers. Average papers tend to be more of the knowing that, i.e. descriptive, rather than showing that learning gains had taken place. The weakness was a lack again of critically evaluating what had been learned. Finally, we come to the sad case of failed students. There were a small number of students who fell below the 50% level. In these cases, the questions sometimes were not easy to answer, the answers were not easy to understand, and in fact, at times, I had to take at face value what was said, as it was clearly showing something about leadership and creativity without the benefit of much study of the course materials. For example, most participants would say something about charismatic leadership. On reflection, what was said seemed to me to be creative imagination rather than based on study of a charismatic leader. In addition, a minority of students, sadly, again showed rather poor examination technique. This often manifests in extremely long answers. As a matter of fact, these tended to conceal rather than reveal key points being made by the candidate. Often the longer answers were lightest on evidence of study and gain from the course materials. I hope this examiner's review will help you understand how you achieved your grade, and hope that you have in fact benefited, if not from the exam, then from taking the entire Perspectives of Leadership elective. Thank you.